In the gospel that Monsignor Gill just read, it's pretty clear that the goats in the story are the bad boys, or the bad girls, of the shepherd world 2,000 years ago. And that's because ancient shepherds, who shepherded lots of different kinds of animals, liked it when their animals behaved more like the sheep. Because sheep are docile, easy to herd. They don't eat weeds that are bad for them. They're not aggressive. The problem that these shepherds had, however, was that when you send a large herd of white, beige sheep into the desert, when they get like a quarter mile away, they just blend in with the desert. You can't see them. And so you cannot shepherd them. Their solution was to add in to their sheep just a few black goats so that they could manage their herd from a distance because they could see the goats. The only problem was these goats had some troubling behaviors. They were curious, aggressive, always getting into trouble, eating things that were bad for them. They called attention to themselves. They headbutted the sheep, each other, and the shepherds. Sounds like anybody that you know. The only good thing was they were easy to sort out when time came for shearing or to take them to market because the goats were black, the sheep were white. Unfortunately, we live in a society that treats people in much the same way. Many people are sorted out by their color, discriminated against simply because of their skin. Our society also values highly people who act like sheep, who can be easily manipulated into buying more things so that they look or act like everyone else in society, especially the influencers. People who are curious, aggressive, adventuresome, or call attention to themselves, or push back against cultural norms, are pushed aside, bullied, or just ignored. Many Boys Town kids were treated like goats before they came here. But most of them, once they got here, found a community founded on the principles of Father Flanagan, the belief that there are no bad boys or girls. Here, they learn social skills to help that world outside of Boys Town to see their inner goodness and to treat them right. Here, we celebrated your differences and only judge you by how you treat each other, especially those considered least by society or least by your peers. And this criteria, this last one, that's the one that Jesus says that our Father God will use at the end of time or at the end of our lives to judge whether we're worthy of God's kingdom. Jesus will not judge us based on the color of our skin or our social class or by what we consume, but by how we treat people considered least in our society: the hungry, the homeless, the incarcerated, those suffering from illness, poverty, or loneliness. And in my experience, it's the sheep in our society who fail this test. They walk politely by people on the street. They ignore protesters when they see them on TV. And when someone is obviously in need, they don't reach out a hand. They go on their merry way, following the herd, checking their social media, buying the new hot must-have item, completely focused on their own health, their own emotions, and their own needs. In my experience, though, and the reason that I like goats so much is that it's the goats who pay attention to how our society is broken, who just won't shut up until some people are heard, who are willing to push back against social norms, butt heads with authority. People like our Boys Town graduates, the ones sitting in the caps and gowns in these front rows. Those who spoke on behalf of the others pledged themselves to fight for the next generation of kids with problems, just like Father Flanagan said they would. Graduates, maybe you are the goats of our society, but if you join all of us at Boys Town in living a life of service to others, you might just find yourselves becoming, like Father Flanagan, a real G-O-A-T, the greatest of all time. Congratulations, graduates.
Thanks for watching. Before you go, please like the video.
Click the subscribe button and consider a donation to Boys Town.